Okay. Well, first of all, I want to make them corporate. Barriers show up as operational friction. Rework, delay, miscommunication, lost customer. And I gave you examples earlier. Then acceptable processes reduce the mistakes, clean up handoffs, and cut preventable rework. The meeting example is a good one. You're not having another meeting because nobody understood the first meeting because you did it right the first time. And then predictable, usable system build customer trust and loyalty. So like the customer support, when you know you can count on choices in how you communicate, that helps with loyalty. And most importantly, accessibility to workflow decision, not disability accommodation. So we need to try to reframe accessibility as a smart operational thing to do, as the best practice for business in general. Yeah, forget that accessibility is the right thing to do, the smart thing to do. People just can't see through it unless they're passionate like we are. So think about how accessibility becomes a workflow decision when you treat it like any other operational choice. For example, do we want a process people can complete on their worst day? Now, I'll tell you, when I have a headache or I'm tired and I sleep well, I am not thinking it clearly. And if I open up a forum with 5,000 boxes and a lot of unnecessary stuff and it's unorganized, it's poorly, oh my God, that will take me so much longer. It's going to drain me more. I'm already in a bad place. But if it's a form that's well done, clean, only active what it needs, what you need, what it needs from you, and explain why, it's going to go a lot better. It's going to save a lot of frustration. And one of my favorite things is with the forum, sometimes it needs information from you you may not have in handy. It may not be your birthday. It may be you need your passport, which is in a different room, right? Or at home. You may not be home. So I appreciate a forum that lets me go through all the questions and come back to it. That way I know I can collect my thoughts and then come back to it when I have my answer. Instead of, oh shoot, I gotta go find this one. Oh my God, it's 10 minutes. The forum gives me a 10-minute limit. It's gonna kick me out after all that. So you see the connection with the attitude and something that's a barrier, of adding friction. Right, so how many of you have dealt with bad forum? Yeah, in the forum class I went to, every hand went up. And people all have different disabilities or even no disability. So bad forum affect everyone. Accessible forum make it better. Usable forum make it even better because we know usable design is higher than accessible design, right? Because I love to use the example of a ramp. The building builds the ramp. They're in compliance, right? But where they build it is going to affect usability, right? If it's built all the way around, or if it's built where everybody goes through, that affects usability. So being compliant doesn't mean it's a good usability experience, user experience, right? And I've talked so long, Amy, I'll let it go back to you.
Sure. Yeah, building in kind of the sugar in the accessibility is often how I sell it. Like Meryl said, explaining how you are explaining how a good video is going to, sorry, I'm hearing my voice and it's, I know you're fixing it. You're fine. Apparently I've hit my wall for the conference and I'm doing the best I can. It is. But what I was trying to say is having an excellent form is improving things for everyone, and having explicit ways that that improves things for everyone, including your disabled users, kind of makes it a sweeter pot of honey for the people who are making decisions. So kind of selling the accessibility the roundabout way of this is how this is affecting this pool of users. It includes these disabled users, but it also includes all these other folks. Often helps me to sell accessibility onto someone else. Also, being able to use demos of when it doesn't work can make a difference. Like if you've got a screen reader user who can, on your team, who can give a demo, a video demo, and explain why you can't hit that button with the keyboard to the developer, it often kind of softens the resistance once they see the actual barrier affecting an actual person. Admittedly, that's not always widely available to us, but where possible, a little bit of very carefully placed empathy can go a long way, but you don't want to make it your primary focus. Honestly, where you can sell it on its merits to the person that you're talking to without even bringing in the accessibility as the primary focus, it sometimes goes down sweeter. I hate to say it. We all know why accessibility matters. And we can bring other people on board with how accessibility matters, sometimes through the side door of how it is a best practice to have an explicit meeting agenda title, for example, like Meryl mentioned, that explains exactly what the meeting is and why we're doing it, because that's good for everybody. Does that help clarify things at all? Are there questions, comments? All right, let me bring you the microphone.
Yeah, thanks so much for bringing this up. Conformance is not equal usability. So I learned that first and Monday in the workshop. So why am I here? My company sent me here so that I can go back and help fix a lot of conformance issues, a lot of compliance issues, because we build a lot of websites 9 years ago, never had accessibility in mind. So now we have to go back and fix all the issues. So to meet the deadline, which is April 2026, but they moved that. But then Monday, I attended a workshop on usability testing. So the instructor brought in the gentleman who cannot see, and he read through the website that my company created. Yes, the website is compliant, but he struggled just find a dentist, because exactly to what your point, the site doesn't have a clear instruction for him to go from, he opened up the form, he entered the zip code to search for the dentist, nothing come up, no results found, because on that form, he must select a plan and then have to uncheck the current location if he want to search outside of the Austin area. So that's eye-opening for me. Like, wow, there's more than just compliance and legal. There is usability. We must have the empathy. and create products for everybody. So, yeah.
Thank you. Anyone else? Excellent. I'll hand you the mic.
And Rice, the keynote speaker yesterday really helped my mind in burnout. I think that having more of those inspiring speakers might or could help us out. I also I heard on the first day that accessibility improvements helped AI to be what it is today. So with AI being important to the deck now, we may be able to sell that better when we to get accessibility, then the better way we can help AI to be. So using accessibility to sell AI because it makes it better. So that can be another way where you can talk about accessibility making your AI better. I love that idea. That's a great point, isn't it? So I was talking about how accessibility becomes a workflow decision. So you want people to be able to, as I mentioned earlier, be able to complete a process on their worst day. And then that we want fewer mistakes, fewer do-overs, fewer tickets, the first ticket, yes. Do we want customers and employees to move through the system without friction? Yeah, of course. And a very simple example of that is when every time I get a job interview opportunity, I always get an automated email that they give out your phone number, schedule the date that works for you. So it's a phone call. I would prefer a video call because it gives me more accessibility. So I can't do anything for accessibility yet. I have to fill out the phone number and the date. Then another email comes after my accessibility requirements. We could get rid of that by building it into the process and say, what is your preferred way of doing the interview? And here are your options. And then you decide right then and there and done. No follow-up email, no, and it's part of the process. And not requiring another email and say, what are your accessibility requirements? But if they do it up front as the best operational practice, then you're making everyone happy regardless. That makes sense? How you can sell it as a more efficient, productive tool to cut the number of emails. So you're skipping that accommodation email because you're doing it up front. Let's see, one more bullet point. Do we want to reduce burnout by lowering cognitive load and eliminating guesswork? So changing up the interviewing request process, you're saving lots of steps and you're not burning anybody's energy. Everything you do to make things easier on anybody, employee, future employee, customer, is better for us all. Have you ever heard the statement, if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy, right? So if I'm in a bad mood in my house, it's not gonna be good for anybody. I mean, you can't help but take things out on your family. Here's a great example. So I have a relative who loved to yell and cuss in the car when she was driving. If somebody cut her off, she was yelling, she was cussing. Guess who got to hear that? Not the person in the other car, me. And I am just an innocent bystander. That's an example of how somebody's bad day can affect others. And when we do things better operationally, you're cutting that down. Does that make sense, Amy? Makes perfect sense. Okay, did you want to take it back? All right.
Yeah, I really have dropped the plot. I am sorry, friends. Please.
I have no problem. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, it's the last day of a conference. We're all tired. We party hard, right? All right. So at this note day, those are workflow questions, not disability questions. When we think about the workflow, instead of what needs to be accessible, I want to talk at A11Y NYC about using Figma for reporting accessibility issues, and it's a way to track it. Accessibility wasn't treated differently. Let's say you're working on a form field. You have to follow WCAG WCAG and copy so it's part of what, when you make the form field, this is what it requires. You need to follow these requirements, that's it. You're not saying, oh, you need to make it accessible. No, no, no. You're following coding HTML best practices. So you have to watch the talk. I can't explain it as officially as our speaker did, but if you're interested, let me know and I'll try to put it in. And those of you online, please, I've got the chat open. I would love to hear from you, so feel free to chime in. Now, when you build accessibility into the workflow, people don't need special exceptions. Like the interview example I gave you, I'm not having to go back and say, oh, can we do a video call with that? If you think about that up front and give choices, you're saving all that back and forth. Teams don't waste time retrofitting. My favorite example, okay, you are building a new office, right? And you're gonna have a sidewalk because you want people to be able to walk safely. Now, you come to a decision, your architects, are you going to build a ramp or are you gonna build nothing? You're gonna build a sidewalk, but is it gonna have a ramp or nothing? So if you do it now and you add the ramp, you're not adding anything to the cost. Something's going to go there. It's just a matter of how it's designed, flat or step. But if you don't put that ramp there, 6 months later, somebody says, oh, I can't get in the building. I can't get up the step. Guess what happened? Retrofitting. You gotta go back, you have to go pay for construction, pay the contractor, and we know contractors charge a lot of money, right? And then get it done, and on top of that, you're causing construction around the building and it's affecting everybody who's coming into the building. I mean, how many of you have come to a building under construction and you're having to weave and dodge your way into the building, right? So construction messed up everybody's day. So that's an example of how getting it right the first time saves us a lot of headache, a lot of money. So we need to reframe accessibility the same way. But I encourage you to use the word universal design rather than accessibility because that's even higher. Because it's about better user experiences. See, what else my notes say? Communication becomes cleaner and decision stuck. That was the example of the meeting, post-meeting recap, where you specifically say who was responsible for what. You send an email, everybody's on the same page, except the people who didn't read the email. That's the problem. And then productivity goes up because the system works for more people the first time. So back to the interview example, because I worked the first time, I'm not having to deal with the post email, writing to them, getting response. No, it took 2 or 3 emails to make it happen. If it was done right the first time, that would have been it. And then burnout dropped because the process isn't draining to navigate in the first place. So accessibility is not an add-on. It's how you design work so humans can actually do it. Not just work, but tasks. Like if you're building a website, it's how you design the shopping experience so people can do it effortlessly as possible. See, I'm just double checking my notes. And then I have some real examples. I mentioned the acceptable meeting, acceptable forums. And then, let's see. I thought I heard somebody. Okay, yeah, I talked about that. Oh, I went to a building back home in Plano, and we went to the front. We thought we were going to the front of the building to get in. It was the office building. And we got there. All that was there was a stack of umbrellas, not relevant, a, what do you call it, pole stand of some sort. On it was a badge reader. We're not employees, so that didn't work for us. The other option was speaker. I can't use the speaker, y'all. I can't hear. So luckily, I had a hearing person with me, and they could talk. We had to go all the way around, which is what I would have done if I had seen that. I would have done it and eventually found my way. But maybe we could make the process better by getting me to the right place in the first place. Then we could have saved out that frustration. But you don't need to have options here because not everybody's gonna walk in there able to hear the speakerphone. And then back up to, here are some questions to think about. Nobody online, okay. Amy, did you have something to add yet? You don't have to, I mean, it's up to you.
I want to, and I'm just,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
it's fine. You want to sit down?
I think that's a good idea.
Okay. No, please don't apologize. You gave us a lot of great points to get us started, so thank you for that. All right, so question to think about. Where do people lose time because they're waiting, guessing, or re-explaining? These are questions you might want to save when you're trying to pose the accessibility thing, but not talk about accessibility. So that's a challenge. That's my challenge to you. How can you reframe a conversation about the benefit without saying accessibility? I once gave a whole talk where I barely mentioned accessibility. And if I have to say something as a universal design, that's less threatening. That I don't mean threatening, but you know how people shut down when they hear accessibility. Because they associate that with disability. They don't associate that with best practices. Let's stop consistently create rework and what barriers is underneath. So it's really smart when a company has a meeting process for meetings and everybody follows it. Always send agenda 4 days ahead, always make notes, always identify who's responsible for what when, and identify in the original email the purpose of the meeting. Don't you say quick shot. Why are you having a quick shot? What's the point of it? If there's no point, then don't have it. If it could be said in an email, stay in an email, don't schedule a meeting. Where do customers abandon something because it's confusing or inconsistent? I told the story of how I signed up to do a user experience survey for traveling in Dallas, commuting. And the guy kept calling me and calling me. Guess what? I didn't call him back. He also didn't leave an email. If he had, I would have emailed him, but he didn't. He just kept calling me. Eventually, he finally emailed me. And I said, I explained what happened. And I said, I don't do phone calls. This is not worth my time. I'm happy to talk to you with a video call or email, but I'm not doing a phone call. And he said, okay, we'll do email. Victory, right? No, it was short-lived, y'all. You should know this by now. He asked me if there was anybody in my house who could do the call. He was basically asking me if there's another grown-up to do my phone call for me. Y'all, I raised 3 children to adulthood, and they're alive. I think I can handle these things myself. So that's insulting, and that's not the first time. It's happened a lot. It's happened a lot. Yeah. Yeah, I have a text message, a chat message, where they're asking me, is there anybody in my house who could do the call? I'm not joking. Okay. What would your team gain if the information was usable the first time? Same thing with the meeting process. Create a meeting process. Make it a regular thing. If you rebuilt one process from scratch, what will change? And what friction points feel normal? Because it's a lot of time and trust. Meetings are a great example of that. People accept they're going to be meeting. Sometimes there's an agenda, or they pass it out at the meeting, not before the meeting. So when that's the normal one, you don't think about what it's doing. Does anybody have anything they want to add or question? It's so that you're it's the end of the oh, you have another microphone? I thought we had two. Thank you.
I saw a prompt up there about if I had to redo something, what would change? So I actually had this experience just last week. I uh, I made a small ticket, or not ticket. I made a small task on my team's Kanban board to increase the color contrast because I thought, okay, that would be a small win. But then I told my senior engineer, like, why don't I just redesign that whole page, which was the sign up page, and redesign the sign in page. And so he let me go ahead and do that. So all last week I was redesigning the sign in page and the sign up page. So a lot changed, and I am really into form design actually. I I even took a course by like a good UK interaction designer named Adam Silver, and I also uh, read up on other forms experts like Caroline Jarrett, and also a little bit of Adrian Roselli. So, anyways, I'm really into form design, and I got to redesign like the sign up and sign in forms, and a lot changed. Then I came to this conference, and from multiple sessions, I learned that when I come back to work after this conference, I might overwhelm my senior engineer and other stakeholders with this entire redesign because a lot did change for not just accessibility but usability, and like a lot of developer rework would have to happen. So I'm thinking of just presenting it as a North Star, which is language that they understand as we don't need to have this tomorrow, but this is the direction we want to head when we put in bug fixes into our Kanban board. So yeah, coming back, I'm going to do just that. I'm going to present that as where we could go, our North Star, and then iteratively go towards sign up and sign in forms that are very usable and by default extremely accessible.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And that's why I'm so progress over perfection, because you can't do it all in one day. You have a lot of forms, I'm sure. But I like that you start with something and iterate. So the next time you change something on the form or create another form, you keep those best practices in mind for universal design, not accessibility, because universal design is the ultimate goal, right? So thank you for sharing that. And that is an example I hope resonates with you and helped you think of what you could do. I mean, I know the colleges have 1 million PDFs. Yeah, you need to check out the A11Y NYC recap that I posted in the Slack last month about University of Illinois coming up with a way to scale PDF into Markdown to make it accessible pages. So you start with small and you work your way up. I just talked to somebody from Fort Worth College, and she said they did 1,200 PDF remediation in the past year, and that's with a team of 4. Yeah, so it's getting better. And she's been there 10 years. No, that's not right. That can't be right. But anyway, I met her like 5 years ago, and she wasn't there yet. But anyway, so it's progress. She said in the beginning, oh my God, I worked so many hours during burnout because of accessibility. Now it's 40. So she's doing exactly what I'm trying to help you with, is to show, find small wins, like you said, small wins, and work on that. And try to use language that focuses on outcome, good outcome, better outcome, happier employees and customers, and more productive. And when all that works out, revenue goes up. When all that goes right, revenue is gonna go up. Yeah, because you're not reworking, you're not redoing, you're not dealing with unhappy people who make everybody unhappy, and then they're not doing their best. I know when I'm not having a good day, I am not at my best. But when I come in and I get a compliment from a coworker, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do my best today. That was so nice to me. It's so nice to be here. Yeah. Okay, do other notes I have? So Engels got there. Predictability lowers cognitive load. So if you start making a meeting process that everybody follows, it becomes predictable, and everybody can count on that. And they won't be stressing out, and they'll be able to speak up more because they're planning the meeting ahead. People can take notes because sometimes people can't think on the spot. Removing friction improves retention. Usable experiences expand reach and reduce churn. An accessible system increase legal, reputational, and operational risk. Inclusive workflows strengthen culture and raise the bar for everyone. How many of you use caption by choice? How many of you use caption at all? Almost everybody in the room. Almost everybody in the room. And I'm guessing based on statistics, you're not all deaf and hard of hearing. No, I am. So anyway, my point is, so many people use captions because they benefit them in some way. Let's think about it. We know the ramp was designed for people who use wheelchairs, but they are not the majority users of it anymore. Yeah, I mean, they use them, but everybody else uses them a lot more. Strollers, shopping carts, suitcases, that's what accessibility is, but well, the universal design too, because it is looking for everybody in different ways. Accessibility is just the wheelchairs part and anybody else who needs it. But universal design is the strollers, the shopping carts, yeah, you know what. Oh, that's rough. Okay, so I hope I'm just giving you something to go back. But I really hate it when I speak and people go back with nothing. I, it is my goal every time I speak is to teach something new, entertain you. I hope I do that a little bit. It was not a planned talk. I mean, 2 hours ago, I didn't know I was doing this. So I'm doing the best I can. I'll tap in for you. So I did the entertaining part. And then educate, entertain, and encourage action. Meaning you're not going to go back to your desk and do nothing. You're going to make a change. However, I know you've been here all week. You're tired. I am too. I can't sleep when I'm traveling. And I have a 7 o'clock flight in the morning. I'm an early bird, but they'll get into an airport at 5:30. So just make notes. Just make your notes and send it to yourself next. Or if you can schedule an email, then schedule it for the middle of next week or 2 weeks, because Monday you're going to be catching up. If you're like most people coming back from a conference, you're catching up, and all your coworkers will be coming up. I need that, right? Okay. So I hope that these closing notes, name one workflow that could be more usable tomorrow. And we had an example with Thorn. He's working towards making Thorn more usable. Identify one system with the most friction and map the hidden cost. What is the cost of not creating accessible documents in the first place? Because they get converted to PDF. PDFs don't start as PDFs. They start as a Word document, right? Or Excel or Canva, or right? But if you make those, if they learn to make those accessible, it'll make the job easier, won't it? For the most part, right? And then here's your takeaway. Here's your action. Commit to one small accessibility practice that boosts productivity. So we'll rephrase that. Commit to one small business best practice and universal design practice that boosts productivity. Oh, sure, I'll be happy to. I should work with AI. We've worked together, and AI came through for one. So amazing, huh? Without, oh, you should hear us and thought this happened this whole week. I cuss more with AI than I do with my family. Oh my goodness, so bad. Okay, so anybody online? No, y'all are quiet. Something I want to point out. So this is the unconference, but it's the unconference and the middle unconference. Elite Miller was my sister. Now all of you know that. She was supposed to be here last year. She's been at AccessU for many years, and she was supposed to be here last year, and I didn't know that until weeks after that she had the cancer because she was in a lot of pain. And May 29th, I heard from her that she had pancreatic cancer. But her doctors were working on a plan. She had a lot of medical issues, including 20 years of liver cancer. So I think because of all her challenges, they didn't realize what the pain was. So anyway, and by June 22nd, she was gone. It's hard. Yeah. Even though my daughter graduated from here, coming from here, it's just making me, because every time I came here for AccessU, I was with her. We stayed in a room together. And she's the one that brought me in 2019. Yeah. And last year was the first one I met, only because my baby graduated from Purdue. Yeah, at the same time. And that's why I didn't know she didn't come here. And he's a rocket scientist, y'all. He has a degree in aerospace engineering. Yeah, he's a rocket scientist. I'm proud of him. He just got his first job, but he's not doing rocket. But still, huh? Exactly, yeah, exactly. So it's just amazing because so many people knew us separately, and then they would find out we were sisters, and then they were like shocked. Anyway, I almost didn't come because I knew it would be emotional for me. And then they told me they were naming this conference, Unconference, for her because she's the one that came up with it. So I appreciate that you all chose to come to this session, and I hope it's making a difference. And if there's a question, I hope so. And I have some resources for you, like the PDF, if you're interested.
So we've been using EPUBs, and there's a brand new tool from Daisy called Fido, which lets you take, it uses AI, you take PDFs, and it lets you convert them into either EPUBs or into Word documents, and then it'll do the image descriptions for you, the heading structure, and just it does like a lot of cool stuff. It's a brand new tool. So we've been using that, but I hope everybody in this room has someone who loves them like higher education loves PDFs, because they are never giving them up. I declared war and I've lost, but I'm going to keep fighting, but it's over. They're never giving up PDFs, but I'm going to keep trying.
I'm glad to hear that. So, then I think I've shared everything in this document, so I can show, not as an example. So I'm going to close it and share something else and save that. And then, let's see, I'm going to open a browser. So many things are blocking the browser, and I'm trying to. Okay, here we go. And now I'm showing that. Here we go. Yeah. And then I'm going to entry.com blog. So, disclaimer, I work with Equal Entry, and I am also an organizer for A11Y NYC. No, I don't live in New York City. Explain that. I live in Texas, and I'm involved with the New York City meetup. But Thomas Logan, who spoke today, he is the founder of, one of the founders of A11 NYC and the founder of Equal Entry. So I help him with everything, the planning, the event, and the online stuff. Anyway, the first one is the recap from that I was talking about, and I have an article version, but I also have the caption video of the presentation if you're up for that. Yeah, so that is equalentry.com PDF accessibility dash AI. I'm trying to copy and paste for the online group. There we go. And then, yeah, got your picture? Perfect. Yeah, because there's another one I think would be of interest to you. The every geo ticket is your accessibility policy. I was so amazed by that one. I am not an engineer. Let's see. It was with Charlie Tripler. Whoa, I hate that. There we go. Charlie Tripler. I'm trying to remember who he who he worked for. Oh, he founded atomic11y.com, and I'm going to copy these into the chat for everybody. So Charlie, I'm not a developer, but I understood what he was doing with it. So this might be what for you. Do you, Jira? Oh,
We use Asana. So,
okay. It works. Pranav, you have a way to write tickets to person, right? Same system, just different software. But you can still do his system. That's what I've been talking about, coming up with processes and systems that are built instead of just flying by the seat of your pants. In other words, everybody learns a different way of doing meetings, or they've never done them and they just learn from the coworker, and they're not always good meeting practices. So we forget about the basics, and sometimes going back to the basics can make a difference. So if we clean up those meetings, we'll take up a lot of your time, right? So if we clean them up, maybe that is a step. And one of my favorite things to do in a meeting, when we finish early, I let them go. I don't stay until the meeting time is over. I stay until we're done. Hopefully it doesn't run over. I mean, if a time, then yeah, I'll let them go because I don't keep people on. Yeah. Anyway, so that's another good one to get and get the URL for that one. Putting that into the chat. I'm going to save the chat. If I can. I don't know if I can. Yes, I can. Okay, perfect. And then I will find out how I can share my document to, it'll probably be under the Unconference stuff, I guess. So A11 NYC recapped all on Equal Entry website. And we also have a YouTube. Yeah. Hold on. There it is. Okay. I'm copying that link too. The reason I show that is because we have the Jira ticket run that I think is a great process for a developer that can help with the accessibility thing, but without making it about accessibility. And then I showed the PDF one because so many people are dealing with PDF anyway. The system may or may not work for you, but it comes from people who work for U of I don't know. Yeah. So that's why I show that, because there might be other topics of interest. Because we try to make it diverse. We try to cover. So we've had an interesting one that I hadn't never seen is AAC. You know, I always forget. I'm so used to saying AAC that I forget what I mean. Alternative communication devices. Yeah, that was a really good talk by two people who are speech language pathologists. Then we have extra accessibility. And this one might be an interest. If those of you who are into maturity model, roles and responsibility, ARRM, that's the W3C group trying to systemize roles and responsibilities associated with accessibility. Anyway, she talked about building a sustainable accessibility program, and I was really impressed with what she said. Look, I've attended many of these, and not all talks stood out with me, but those three I've been talking about, those four stood out with me. All right, and let me go back. And that one was Lena Tryfon. Got it. Cool. So I'm trying to scroll down the videos. And then we had Shanty Fleet, if anybody knows of her. She's with New York Public Library. She's a librarian who happened to be blind. And she was talking about something people don't think about is print literacy. I found that very interesting. Let's see. And then data storytelling with Ange Young. Ange was here as well and spoke. How great thing to talk. And they were the ones who talked about accessible meaning. It was really good. Yeah. So that's enough. And we have 15 more minutes, or I can let you go early. But I want to make sure you feel like you walked away with something. You sure? Okay.
Side doors sometimes. Oh,
Yeah.
like Amy was saying, going to the side doors sometimes, the way people will go through the door, and actually a bunch of other stuff like giving people options, making it like an operational efficiency or process when everyone wants to spend less time or save money or make money, right? So these are ways accessibility wins without saying it. So I learned all of these from you guys. So,
Awesome.
people.
thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. I left your side door comment. I have a story for you. So I'm staying with my daughter who went here actually, and it's the first time I've been to her new house. I had seen photos and pictures, and I knew how it was. The cool thing about her house, okay, you're on the street. If you drive in front of her house, all you see is trees and bushes and stuff. It's her backyard. Her backyard is to the street. Her front door is on the side. And this is a great example because just because it's always been done that way doesn't mean it has to be done that way. So just because front doors are always facing the street doesn't mean, what would happen? Her house is cool. I like her house. I told her I would live there if I could, but I won't do that to her, don't worry. So yeah, she has the door on the side, her backyard facing the street, and next door is the restaurant, not a house. It's wild, but it's really sweet. It's got character, and she has a really cool house. And they befriended the restaurant, and I said, these are your neighbors, but these are your neighbors. You don't have to ring the bell. You can walk in. See how that changes your perspective a little bit? Yeah. All right, Kevin, did you have anything you would like to share? It's fine if you don't. You can pass. Okay, thank you. What about you? Thank you. And Amy, do you have any final words? It's up to you. You don't have to.
I just really want to thank everyone for coming and for thinking through this with us. It's such an important thing for our health and our practice sometimes to reinvent the wheel. And I want to thank you specifically, Meryl, for taking the giant share of this today.
No worries. No worries. Like I said, we all have our days and moments, and it's okay. That's the problem. Everybody expects you to be perfect on the job. People go into work sick. They go into work sick because they feel like it looks bad to stay home or it looks weak. No, being a hero, you're making everybody sick around you. So sometimes you have to I believe in what the airline always say. You need to put the mask on yourself first before you help others, because you are no good to them if you pass out trying to help them. So my mental health has been really rough for the past year between my sister's passing, my spouse getting laid off and not getting a job, my son not getting a job till now. It took a year, but it's a victory. And my business hasn't been as hot as it normally is. So it's the climate. Everybody's affected, but it affects me a lot because it makes me feel like I'm failing and I'm tired and burned out. And the funny thing is, to get more business, I have to be doing things. I have to be marketing, right? But the problem is, I'm tired. I'm burned out. I'm dealing with mental health. So it's a catch-22. And it's really hard because I am a type A. I am an Enneagram 1. That's the kind of person who does not know how to relax. Everything has to be done first, then we can relax. Yeah. So, but I firmly believe when things fall into place, you're saving time and making people happier, and it's just domino effect. Yeah.